So, I've seen a new Candyman film, and I must say, guys, I really enjoyed this film. I have many thoughts, and I cannot wait to talk about them right here. By the way, this is a spoiler-free review, so don't think you're going to get any of the goodies because I want you guys to go see the movie. So, yeah, let's get into it.
I like it spooky.
What's up, hardheads? Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm reviewing Nia DaCosta's Candyman. This film was one of my most anticipated horror films of 2020. It got pushed back to this year, 2021, due to the pandemic, and I must say, I think it was worth the wait. I enjoyed this film a lot, and I have some things to say. And before I get into this review, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and show your boy some love. Thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. Also, stay till the end of the video for a question of the day. In present day, a decade after the last Cabrini Towers were torn down, Anthony and his partner move into a loft in the now gentrified Cabrini. A chance encounter with an old-timer exposes Anthony to the true story behind Candyman. Anxious to use these macabre details in his studio as fresh grids for paintings, he unknowingly opens a door to the complex past that unravels his own sanity and unleashes a terrifying wave of violence. Candyman was written by Jordan Peele, Win Rosenfeld, Nia DaCosta, and directed by Nia DaCosta. And yes, put some respect on my girl's name. It's Nia DaCosta's Candyman. I just have to say that one last time. My anticipation for this film was at an all-time high. I could not wait for this movie. I was so pissed when this movie got delayed into this year. And last year it got delayed, 2-3 months, and then it pushed it back to this year. And walking into the theater and finally watching this movie, I had the biggest smile on my face because, again, this was one of my most anticipated horror movies. I was so happy that Candyman was finally making a comeback. New fans could find out about him, watch the old movies, or preferably the first one. And we have a new generation Candyman. To be honest, after watching the film, everything is still relevant from what happened in 1992 up until this point in 2021. But I'll dig more into that later on in the review. But I have to say that this cast is amazingly talented and beautiful. You have Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who plays Anthony McCoy. You have the beautiful Tiona Paris, who plays Brianna. You have Nathan Stewart Jarrett, who plays Troy. You have Vanessa E. Williams, who came back from the first film, that's playing Anne-Marie. And you have Coleman Domingo, who plays William Burke. This cast did such an amazing job in this movie. I was just in awe, just looking at all the melanin in the screen. It was just such a joy to see all these talented people in a Candyman film. And just seeing the finished product, I feel like this amazing cast should give themselves a round of applause. And these are all actors to look out for. So if you haven't seen any of their projects, please check them out. I just love Tiona and Yaya's chemistry in this movie. It's so authentic, just real. I love their love in this film. The moment I seen these two together, I was rooting for them. And I was glad that their chemistry came off authentic through the screen, just because when you start to see Anthony's character deteriorate in a way, I'm not going to give too much away, but you start to see him change throughout the film, and you start to see not just him changing physically and mentally, but his relationships around him is changing. You start to see this man life being taken over in such a messed up way, and it reminded me of Helen Lau in the first movie. Her situation was just a little bit different, but Anthony's situation here was used in a different context. Anthony's an inspiring artist, but unfortunately he had to dig deep into himself and also dig deep into the history of Candyman in order to make it as an artist, to make these people happy. And to be honest, the people that he's trying to please aren't worth it. There's a scene in this movie that had me cracking up because he kind of just gave up, and I feel like I would react that same way, drunk or not. I'm just saying, the dude was trash. He was throwing his microaggressions at Anthony, and it was really frustrating me just because that's real life. I had things like that happen to me before, and it's not a pleasing thing to hear and even listen to, especially if you're dealing with somebody that's like your boss or something like that. So I was happy that was written into the movie because as people of color, we go through those things. We go through those little jabs and microaggressions and just, being attacked low-key, kind of the passive-aggressive behavior. It's very frustrating, so I was happy that this was written into the script because it's very realistic, unfortunately. And I feel like Anthony wouldn't have to go through these lengths to make the perfect art if it wasn't for, the persons that's trying to make him go deeper than what he was already presenting. The things we do for art. Also, Candyman stories contextualized. They tell a very different story than what we got in the first one, and not necessarily in a bad way. Like, I feel like the first story still exists, but it's not just that story. There's plenty of other stories that's going on in this universe of Candyman. But what I really love most about this film is that this movie is not just about an urban legend. It's not just about Candyman. Like, yes, Candyman exists, in this movie. He had to exist. That's the name of the movie. But it's a deeper meaning to it. Like they're telling the story of what happened to black people when we are, you know, wrongfully accused or brutalized by the police, or even just attacked for no reason, and what happens to us after those moments, what happens to us after we're wrongfully accused and we're killed, or when we're locked up. What's going on in the world today with people of color fits very well into this film. It's not forced down your throat, and that's what I like about it, because they still realize, yes, we're telling a story, we still got to tell Candyman's story, and they let you know what happens to us after the fact and what happens when police get away with these things. And I also mentioned before, I can relate to Anthony, and I'm sure many of us do. Just being out in the world and just seeing how people talk to us, or you being stopped by the police, or you're at work and you have a white boss and they make you go through lengths to try to get to a point in your career, and they make it so much harder because they don't want to see you succeed. There's so much going on with this situation what Anthony's going through, where for me, I feel like I can kind of relate. I had things like that said to me. I had people talk to me that way, and I had to handle it in such a graceful manner. And times I really didn't, I'm just being honest. But in a lot of situations, I handled it gracefully, and sometimes you just have to let people know. In other words, check them. The cinematography and direction in this film is so damn good, y'all. Shout out to Nia DaCosta. Shout out to our cinematographer, John Galisarian. This film has so many amazing shots, and I particularly love the upside down shots and inverted shots, because it kind of gave me like, this is a reflection of the old world and the new world. I kind of took it as all these things happen back then, and it's still mirroring the image of 2021, where those same things that happened back then is happening today. When I first seen that in the beginning of the movie, I was just like, all right, I love this. I love this. I wonder what this means. And that's just how I took it. Also, the use of the mirrors were very staggering. I love the camera work in it. When you see some of the kills in this movie and you see Candyman doing his thing, and the use of the mirrors and just like how it goes back and forth and what you see is there and not there, they did such an amazing job. I love the camera work. I love what they did with this movie, and I love what they did with the kills. It was such a fun time. There's a particular shot that happened in the condos, and you just see all the action from afar as the camera keep panning back. So amazing. I think that might be one of my favorite shots in the movie. So one of my favorite characters in this movie is Troy, who's played by Nathan Stewart Jarrett. I love this character so much because I feel like I'm that character. You know, I'm not as sassy, but I could be. I feel like he was the comic relief, and I feel like he came in the right times when we needed that laughter, when the movie was too deep. And it fit perfectly, just because you need that time to breathe in a movie, and Troy was perfect for those moments. Also, yes, queer black representation in a horror film. I love to see it. I love seeing my guy in this film, and I can't wait to see more of him. So I only have one dislike in this film, and that is, I feel like scenes are missing. There's some scenes I see in the trailer that wasn't in this movie. I feel like a few things didn't add up or even make sense. I feel like it was definitely some scenes missing, and I'm really hoping that there's a director's cut coming, or maybe some deleted scenes, because I need answers. I mean, I felt like the film was great, but watching this film, I'm just like, all right, it's a little bit jumpy. It went from one thing to another. The editing wasn't best when it came down to those certain things, especially towards the end of the film, where we kind of found out some things. It was definitely some scenes missing, or a scene missing. But I could be wrong. I'm sure I'm going to see this movie again, and maybe I missed something, but I definitely feel like something is missing. But overall, guys, Candyman was such a good time. It's scary, it's funny, it's beautiful, it's relevant, and most importantly, is definitely for the culture. I love this movie so much. I'll give Candyman a 4.5 out of 5. A hard head watch. Thank you, Nia and Jordan, for this movie. We definitely need it, and I can't wait to own this movie on Blu-ray. I'm excited to have that part of my shelf. Guys, don't forget to watch Candyman this week in theaters. Let me know what you guys think if you've seen it already, and if you haven't, let me know when you guys do see it so you can comment in the comments below. And I'm just so curious to know what you guys think of this movie. I had such a good time. I really loved it. It has a deeper meaning why it still stays scary, and that's why I love it so much. So check out Candyman. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And question of the day, have you or would you say Candyman 5 times in the mirror? Let me know. I'm curious, because I haven't. I'm still scared. Even as a kid, I've never done it, and as an adult now, I still haven't done it. So, and I don't think I will. So yeah, Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, guys. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you're new, show your boy some love, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Candyman, 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 Candyman.